So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Atmakaraka Mercury in the 7th house. Okay, so what happens when a Mercury uh, controls the highest degree in your horoscope? As close to 30th degree point as possible. And based on that, it becomes the Atmakaraka, which is part of the lessons that the soul is here to learn. It's all about learning. So the soul is going to have to do something and will be given. See, Atmakaraka is the responsibility. Because that's your biggest responsibility. It's the soul's lessons and corrections that has to be made. Why? I don't know. Why do we have Atmakarakas? Why are we even born? What's the point of this samsara, the Maya? I wish I had those answers because I'm looking for those answers myself. But while we are still in this simulation and matrix, it does matter because of what the evidence shows. So, as always, if you do not know, if you have Mercury as the Atmakaraka or which planet is your Atmakaraka, along with all your astrological details, you can check out the links here, astrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and link to my academy, Magavedic Astrology Academy, where especially I'm on Kara's vlogs. I've uploaded two videos showing major predictions, 2 predictions for this year, 1 prediction for next year, not for individual, but on a basis of whole. Something very important. Could be scary, could not be scary. That's why I put them up there. But Mercury is in the 7th house, right? You know what your biggest challenge is going to be? And it's better if you learn this lesson now. Do not ever make false promises in business and relationship. And the other lesson that this person is here to learn, do not easily trust all the promises that are given to you in a relationship or in a business deal. Like what happens with Mercury, see, Mercury is a child. Right? Out of all the planetary planets, Mercury can be the most dangerous, and also it is the most innocent and childlike. And due to this particular position, what happens is, you know how you make a deal with a child. Like you already know something. These scenarios happen every day with me and my kids. My daughter is a businesswoman. My second daughter, she makes deals all day. All day. My God, you sit with her for 1 hour, you'll be like, who are you? But the thing is, how an adult will say like, hey, I'll give you 2 options. Okay, let's make a deal. I'll give you a deal that if you do your homework, I will let you have something, or for example, if you make a deal, especially let's say back in our days, I'll have your cousin come over to play with you. And you're like, oh my God. Okay, I am going to work hard and finish my homework so my cousin can come here and then we can play together. While the one who's making the deal already knows that their brother or sister is coming, the family's coming, and the kid is coming, you're just using that as a leverage to make that child do their work. And these are the kind of scenarios that Mercury can fall under, where you're given promise and everything while, I'm sorry, you don't even have to sign the contract because those things are automatically happening. And sometimes, and Mercury needs to learn this because you will be told things and you're like, wait a second, this is already my right to do this. Like, for example, if a company signs you a contract and, they said, oh, well, we're the only company that is going to help defend you when something happens. Our lawyer will be there to defend you. And let's say in the sector that you're doing business in, The law is already passed that every single company who buys out a company has to defend this particular company or individual from lawyers. But you just weren't innocent. You were innocent enough to not see that. While even though they gave you this promise, it made them look really good. While the other company didn't even tell you this because they're assuming you already know this, and yet they were giving you a better deal. So you see how that child is taken advantage of. On the other hand, a child is also known to break promises. My daughter is the other way. If you make her promise, she will not forget. And if you make a mistake, she will remind you every day. Dad, you told me you were going to do this, and then you went here? Then 3 days later, yeah, Dad, I want to go here, but guess what? You made me this promise. I mean, oh my God. It's like, me and my wife are like, she's probably some Fortune 500 CEO reborn in this family. But see, a child can be like, oh, I promise I'll do this. And then they're just busy and they're playing and they're like, oh, what happened to that promise? Like, maybe tomorrow. I got to go play. And when you do this, this is where the imbalance of Mercury happens. False promises leads to a falsified life in this person, in this person's journey. False promises backfire for Mercury in the 7th house. False commitment will fall this person's life apart in their own commitment. It's very strong boomerang with this Mercury. On the other hand, though, I mean, if let's say Mercury was just in the 7th house without being the Atmakaraka, I mean, this person tends to have multiple romances, multiple relationships, nothing like affairs or cheating. For that, you need other planets to make those things happen. But here, I mean, a person enjoys companies of multiple people. They have multiple ideas of business that can come about in their life. And especially in marriage, if you ever do business with Mercury in the 7th house, make your wife your partner. Okay. And in a female's horoscope, same way the spouse. Because here what happens is, whether you're male or female, you're playing the role of Vishnu. Okay? You're Vishnu with Mercury in the 7th house. 7th house is marriage, 7th house is commitment, 7th house is business and enterprise. So what happens when your partner becomes your partner? That means Lakshmi is coming to become your business partner. What happens? One flourishes in business. But can you do business with Mercury in the 7th house? No. You have to have the combination and angle of Mercury with Saturn and other placement of, Jupiter as well. You gotta, and especially the moon becomes important. I've actually seen people with absolute combination of business, like those hardcore naughty combinations. But the moon is in such a position that this person is absolutely terrified and afraid of going on their own and doing something and taking that chance. So what happens? The entire yoga gets defunct. This is why actually they say, whatever Raj Yoga or Dhan Yoga you have, it can become defunct by moon. Not even the sun, moon. Because if the person moon gets damaged, or it's not even damaged, it's the person's moon is not in sync with the yoga, then the yoga is not going to fructify. Let's say, for example, my moon's supposed to say, well, you will be the most successful funeral home owner, where people bring their dead ones and you help them cremate or bury or burn or whatever it is. You'll be very successful at it. But okay, I have no interest in it. I don't want to do it. I'll be scared all the time, being at work, especially after sunset. I don't want to do it. I'm okay with these things. So now what happens? That yoga became defunct. That yoga is like, okay, well, I'm here, but since you don't want to do it, that's your free will. So this is why it's important to look at, the moon itself to see if the mind is inclined towards being independent, taking risks, taking chances, wanting to do something on their own. Okay, so this is how that Mercury will work as well. Like even with the Atmakaraka, you know, this particular Mercury, naturally from early on in age, may feel a bit alone. They feel confused about meeting other people. And this, again, if you see the story of Mercury, who Mercury Buddha married, who he was. So a person just feels confused about their friendships. Especially the Atmakaraka, like a person, again, it's those lessons. Like, who do you have in front of you? And there's naturally early on, because remember, Mercury matures at what age? 32. There's a reason behind it. Mercury has to learn all these lessons and make mistakes and bump into walls before it matures and be like, okay, I've seen life now. So wherever Mercury is after 32, you have seen that part. You have seen that life. You're good with whatever happens. Okay? You can't control it, but what are the results? It's not going to affect you because you've been there, done that. But till then, this person will be confused about, not even confused, there's this mistrust that happens. And it will happen because of, the lessons a person needs to learn. They feel betrayed quite a bit by the world. And of course, it changes and makes them like solid, like very strong after 32. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Mercury in the 7th house. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. And if you want to know everything about your chart, books, reports, consultations, check out the links here. And along with my wristwatch course, my Nadi course, everything is on Kapiel Raaj Astrology Academy, which you already know. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.